Caitlin Clark laughs off $200 fine with defiant response that shows her true character. The audacity was pure Caitlin Clark. After the WNBA slapped her with a $200 fine for criticizing referees on social media, the Indiana Fever superstar didn't back down. She doubled down with a response that perfectly captured why fans can't get enough of her fearless attitude. The fine that backfired on the WNBA. Picture this. You're sitting on the sidelines, watching your team dominate in a crucial playoff game, and you can't help but call out what everyone in the arena already knows. That's exactly what happened when Caitlin Clark posted, "Refs couldn't stop us," after the Fever's commanding 77-60 victory over the Atlanta Dream in Game 2 of their first-round playoff series. The WNBA brass didn't find it amusing. They hit her with a fine that, frankly, feels like pocket change for someone of Clark's stature. But here's where it gets interesting. Clark's response revealed everything you need to know about her character. "Got fined $200 for this lol," she tweeted, followed by 5 laughing emojis that seemed to mock the league's attempt at discipline. But she wasn't done. "Bench mob will be even more rowdy tomorrow, let's go." The message was crystal clear. This fine won't silence her. If anything, it fired her up even more. Why Caitlin Clark's defiance matters more than the money. Let's be honest. $200 means nothing to Caitlin Clark financially. Her Nike deal alone could probably cover that fine 1,000 times over. But the principle. That's where this story gets its teeth. Clark has never been one to bite her tongue when she sees something that doesn't sit right. Throughout her rookie season, she's been vocal about questionable calls and inconsistent officiating. Some players might shrink under the scrutiny or worry about their image. Not Clark. This is the same player who stared down opposing crowds in college, who turned every road game into her personal stage, who made the impossible look routine night after night. A $200 fine from a league that should be celebrating her instead of censoring her. Please. The bench mob and team unity. What made Clark's response even more powerful was how she immediately redirected the attention back to her team. The bench mob reference wasn't just clever wordplay. It was a rallying cry that showed where her priorities lie. Sophie Cunningham, her Fever teammate, perfectly captured the absurdity of the situation when she joked, "That's gonna really break the bank for her. Starting a GoFundMe now." The team chemistry was on full display, with players having each other's backs both on and off the court. This wasn't just about one player getting fined. It was about a team that had just pulled off a statement win, evening their series against a higher-seeded Dream team, and their leader refusing to let the league's bureaucracy dampen their momentum. The bigger picture of WNBA officiating. While Clark's fine grabbed headlines, it highlighted a more serious issue that's been brewing throughout the season. Players across the league have expressed frustration with inconsistent officiating, and Clark has been one of the more vocal critics. Her willingness to speak out, even at the cost of fines, represents something the WNBA desperately needs more of: authenticity. Fans don't tune in to watch sanitized, corporate-approved soundbites. They want passion, emotion, and players who care enough to speak their minds. The irony is thick here. The WNBA has a generational talent in Caitlin Clark, who brings unprecedented attention and energy to the league, yet they're fining her for showing the kind of competitive fire that made her a household name in the first place. What this says about Caitlin Clark's character. The most telling part of this entire episode wasn't the fine itself, but how Clark handled it. She could have issued a carefully worded apology, paid the fine quietly, and moved on. Instead, she turned it into motivation for her team and entertainment for her fans. This is vintage Clark, taking what could have been a negative situation and flipping it into something positive. The 5 laughing emojis weren't just dismissive. They were her way of saying this won't break her spirit or change who she is. As the Fever prepared for their semifinal matchup against the Las Vegas Aces, Clark's message was unmistakable. If the WNBA thought a small fine would quiet her competitive spirit, they don't know Caitlin Clark at all. The legacy moment nobody expected. Sometimes the smallest moments reveal the biggest truths about an athlete's character. Michael Jordan had his famous, took it personally moments. Kobe Bryant had his Mamba mentality. And now we have Caitlin Clark laughing off a $200 fine while promising her bench will be even more rowdy. This wasn't just a social media post. It was a statement. A declaration that no amount of institutional pressure would change who she is or how she competes. In a league that sometimes feels overly cautious about player expression, Clark's defiance was refreshing. The WNBA got its $200, but Caitlin Clark got something far more valuable. Another moment that perfectly encapsulates why she's become the most compelling figure in women's basketball. Sometimes the best response to criticism isn't silence. It's laughter followed by an even stronger commitment to being yourself.